We joked that years could go by, but she still knew she knew the exact whereabouts of her treasures. Or what about the infamous reusable or disposable container conflicts that would arise while washing dishes with Gran? Like it or not, we all knew it was getting washed and likely taken back to the farm. These behaviors, as we chuckle at now, but were clearly ingrained in Gran from a very early age. Remember, she was born back in 1925. Fast forward to when Gran and Grandpa Cecil got together, all they had were 2 pillows and a blanket. Who remembers Gran's uncanny ability with a washing machine? While getting a white pair of socks or a white t-shirt back brighter and cleaner than new. White shirt? How could we forget that time Roger ruined one of Gran's favorite shirts while tarring the roof in Kelowna at plus 40? Likely the only time Gran's whitening abilities were met with defeat. Good job, Uncle Roger. Wasn't that the same time that you guys almost killed Gran in the car unattended?
That's because she got upset about the show.
Okay, great. What about the wooden spoon when the grandkids would play horse in the living room and Richard, Melissa, and Nicole would gallop across the floor making dust too many times? Or the time Gran stormed across the yard to break up a house party, perhaps? Meeting Nicole at the door sporting her nightgown and rubber boots. Then there was the time Arlo and Max had a party at the old gray farmhouse. Having cleaned up the evidence, or so they thought, all it took was a small piece of old rope mop wrapped around a piece of furniture to set Gran's suspicions off. Gran kept a very clean house and yard, and she took great pride in her home, property, and her belongings. It showed in her impeccably groomed and manicured yard and perfectly pruned rose bushes. My hands are frozen. Gran did, however, enjoy her vast array of trinkets, memorabilia, odds and sods. Perhaps borderline hoarding tendency. Let's not forget about the yard full of strategically placed, beloved collection of yard gnomes. Gran and I always joked over her collection of gnomes. She loved and adored them, and I thought they were downright creepy. Agree to disagree, Gran. I love you. And who can forget the food? Gran's famous chili, pork chops, and mushroom gravy, sided by mashed turnips and potatoes. Roland and Shelley's faves. What about Melissa's favorite sweet and sour spare ribs with rice? With none other than China Lily soy sauce. Then there's her potato salad and pickled carrots. Dessert? Of course, bread pudding, butter tarts, and orange floats for Haley. Grandma loved camping while at the lake or horse shows. She loved dancing. I still see her face when the Red River Jig would play. She loved her some good honey garlic ribs. Any time spent with family, friends, or loved ones is exactly where Gran's heart was fullest. Be it at a family get-together, riding shotgun in a golf cart at Nicole's Stagette, or road tripping in the truck, motorhome, or holiday trailer, or enjoying a relaxing Sunday afternoon drive with Janice. Of course, I can't forget to mention Gran's nightly rituals, watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, or her many hands of playing cards. She always won, and the rules always changed. Grandma was a self-proclaimed overseer, or official site foreman, to any and all work bees. Was her position to ensure things were done properly, or was it to remain close to the activity, seeking new potential treasures? All joking aside, Gran, there are hundreds of stories and memories, and I could go on forever. Just know that you were right. We are talking about you. We are talking and remembering with love and laughter. Jokes, that reminds me. Not many of them can be told appropriately or repeated today. However, one of my favorites, something about it's gotta be fed and it's too tall to eat grass. I'll leave that one right there. On a more serious note, Grandma will forever be remembered for her tremendous kindness, compassion, generosity, caring, and loving, mothering nature. Gran loved to feed people, helping family out any way she could, and she always had what you were looking for, or needing in some shed somewhere. Although Gran never shied away from a good argument, what she did teach me over the years is that we may fight and argue at times with our loved ones, but ultimately forgiveness and love should always prevail. Gran ultimately showed me what true unconditional love really was, and she displayed that in her own life. Many of us here today will be grateful for her words of encouragement, advice, and support, be it in her hand to hold, a hug, or a shoulder to cry on. Gran may have been a woman of few words, however, when she spoke, it had importance, and it was definitely worth hearing. I believe many of us, myself included, could learn a lot from that model. Sometimes there is bliss in silence, strength in silence, and wisdom in silence. Gran is a true symbol of a warrior with the determination, strength, and compassion that granted her 95 wonderful years here with us. Even in her final moments, Gran still did what she did best and tried comforting those loved ones at her bedside. Gran loved life and her family, and she admitted near her death that she didn't want to leave her loved ones. Death came for Grandma several times, and quite frankly, she ignored it. Eventually, God and Grandpa had other plans. Gran made a deal with Richard earlier this year that they would clean 100 windows on her 100th birthday. Gran, you didn't make it to 100 as planned, but you have my word. I will make sure Rich holds up his end of the deal in your honor. Grandma, our only regret is you never gave us the means or tools to know how to live without you. You were 95, and we always thought you would, in fact, live forever. We will lean on your strength and compassion as we learn a new normal without you physically here with us. But we will find faith in knowing you will be watching over us, guiding us and supporting us while back in the arms of Dad. We all love you and miss you. Goodbyes seem so final, so today we say to morning tomorrow. On behalf of the family, we'd like to invite you back to the farm for a luncheon and fellowship after today's service. Thank you.
Roll up, Chris.
I might just need to get out of the way.
I quite agree, those were very powerful words, not even family, I feel a lot better. Can't wait for the festival line. So please family, I do see a number of single flowers still in family's hands. You are invited if you would like to come forward to place those flowers. The time is now. Pallbearers, after the single flowers have been placed, you're welcome to place your boutonnieres as well, or you can keep them as a memento for yourself. Please, ladies and those that have the single flowers, we'll invite you forward. You're welcome to nest them underneath the false flowers just so that they stay where you place them. Just be mindful and please be on this side of the grave, yes.